I gotta ask because obviously we saw it. Andy came, tried to give you the pound. You didn't seem too receptive. What did you think of that moment? Was you confused? Like he was saying what up to you, or
What you was talking about again?
he said what up to you? It was weird. Like he says
Who?
things. Andy Cruz.
Who's that? I don't know what you talking about.
Got it.
Well, that was Keyshawn Davis' reaction to Andy Cruz's victory last night and him coming over to salute him after the fight. Keyshawn pleaded the fifth. He said no comment. Better yet, he didn't even want to talk about it to the point. He said, who? Andy who? But we all know who. Now, we all can understand why Keyshawn didn't want to shake Andy Cruz's hand, since this is the guy who beat him 4 times in the amateurs and for the gold. On top of that, Andy Cruz is going around calling Keyshawn his son. So I knew he wasn't going to be buddy-buddy with Andy Cruz. But what caught my attention is Keyshawn earlier this week, he stated on another interview leading up to the Andy Cruz fight that he does not believe Andy Cruz is going to make it to this level that he's at. He thinks he's going to lose before he makes it to this level that he's at. So they better make him a mandatory or something so we can get it on before he loses. Here is exactly what Keyshawn had to say. Check it out.
Like I genuinely feel like he's gonna lose.
What, his next fight?
Period. I feel like he's just gonna lose before he gets to me. Period, man. Like
Yeah.
period. They better just make him a mandatory real quick before it happens to him. Real.
What you see? What you see in his game that you like? He gonna lose in the pros.
Man, it's fragile, man. Like first of all, he don't got no respectable pop. Like if you like if you can't keep nobody off you, then what the you gonna do at the end of the day? What you gonna keep dancing and prancing around the whole goddamn 12 rounds? You crazy as hell. You think that's gonna work against a fighter like me? You know what I'm saying? 3-round fight and a 12-round fight is a big difference. 10 ounces and 8 ounces is a big difference. You know what I'm saying? It's funny because I'm not tripping off bringing this man name up and people calling me his son and all that type of shit is funny to me. Like at the end of the day, I know what's going on with his team. I know what's going on over there. Y'all don't. This man needs help. Seriously, like he needs help. His team needs help. Like he needs help. Like he needs a better team. But other than that, I just genuinely feel like he don't have no respectable power, and I feel like he was a phenomenal amateur, but he's gonna be an average pro.
Gonna be an average pro.
Yep, bro.
What
He
about?
just he just got hurt in the last opponent, and then what that last opponent, Devin Haney, knocked out.
Oh, his last opponent.
And I don't even care who knocked him out. If you getting hurt right now on your development stages, what the do you think I'm gonna do to you? Bro, this is your development stages right now, bro. Did y'all ever see me get hurt, knocked down? Y'all see me get caught with a big shot, but now you're all right. Oh, hurt.
Yeah. Now you took it. You took it. You,
Like
you
he
definitely.
not he not ready, bro. He got some time, bro. And the only thing he can do is just keep calling my name out to keep his name relevant. But at the end of the day, bro, don't nobody know this man, bro.
Do you feel like him and Bozy is a good mix?
Uh, I'm not sure. I'm not in there with training. I'm not in there training with him. I'm not really knowing in terms of Bozy what they got going on in training camp and stuff like that. I don't know. I just know that he speaks Spanish and Bozy don't.
That could be difficult.
Very difficult.
That could be very difficult. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say, him being with Bozy, he'll be able to sit down on his punches, turn his punches a little bit more. You're not seeing that so far in his last 4 fights.
That he's sitting down on his
Yeah,
punches. If you want,
you ain't seeing that.
bro, also real, bro. I watched any Cruz pro debut. After that, I never watched a full any Cruz fight, so I can't even sit here and lie, be like, no, he don't sit down his punches. Maybe he do, maybe he don't. Like I don't really know. I never would watch.
Well, reality and realistically speaking, Andy Cruz is already the number one contender for Shakur Stevenson. So Keyshawn better start getting ready. Since Andy Cruz is only 5-0 and he's climbing up the ladder quickly. Now, I believe the reason why Keyshawn said what he said is obviously because the pros is completely different than the amateurs. But on top of that, one of the fighters that beat Keyshawn in the amateurs multiple times, and no, is not Andy Cruz, is actually a Mexican fighter, he's not looking the same. Matter of fact, he's looking terrible, while Keyshawn is looking tremendous. He's looking like he's the next one. So you can see why Keyshawn was saying that. But when it comes to Andy Cruz, he's actually transitioning from the amateurs to the pros pretty well. In fact, Andy Cruz passed his test with flying colors last night against Salcido. Salcido, for the people that don't know, actually looked really good against B-Hop. He knocked out Chris Colbert. So the fact that Andy Cruz beat him like he was a nobody, that was highly impressive. Outside of knocking Salcido out, which Andy Cruz could have. He had 2 opportunities to do so, but didn't execute. However, this is why Andy Cruz is still developing. He's still on his developing stage. He's only 5-0, so he's going to get better and better and better. The version that I've seen of Andy Cruz in the amateurs, he was nearly a perfect fighter. If he can become that in the pros, he's going to be hard to deal with. And he showed signs of that last night against Salcido. What he has to work on more is his killer instinct, going for the kill, going to the body. When going for the kill, and even when he's not going for the kill, on some Floyd Mayweather move, he stabs you to the body with the long jab from the outside. And when he's more so in the pocket, when the opponents close the gap, he also got a counter to the body. He got to go to the body more often. So there's minor adjustments for Andy Cruz to improve on. However, that's every fighter. The main thing Andy Cruz needs to work on is not to throw many arm shots, but more so meaningful shots where he's turning his whole body behind the shot and then exit to the left or to the right by slipping under. But as we speak, the Andy Cruz that we have right now can beat a lot of fighters at the top level. Matter of fact, him and Shakur Stevenson, since he's Shakur number one contender, is a 50-50 fight. You almost have to favor Andy Cruz due to how styles make fights. Shakur likes to get his opponents out of position and get them to make mistakes so he could counter. Well, guess what? Andy Cruz never gets out of position. On top of that, he never makes mistakes. You have to make him make a mistake. So I'm really interested to see Shakur versus Andy Cruz. I mean, this is going to be the pro version of Shakur versus Ramirez, a fight that we never gotten, that we should have had. I think Andy Cruz is going to force Shakur to bring something different out of himself if he want to win. Since laying back, waiting on your opponent to make a mistake and find an opening is not going to work against Andy Cruz. While on the other hand, Andy Cruz is going to be busy throwing shots. So if there's a slow round, it's going to go to Andy Cruz route. You see, that's where actually my criticism of Andy Cruz throwing arm shots is going to benefit him against Shakur, since he's not going to lunge. So he's going to be in position to defend, counter, throw punches while being defensively responsible all at the same time. Andy Cruz's footwork is going to give Shakur Stevenson hell. I think that's an easier fight for Andy Cruz than a Keyshawn at this point, or a Gervonta. More importantly, it doesn't matter what I think. What matters is reality, which is Andy Cruz is Shakur number one contender under the WBC. On top of that, both Andy Cruz and Shakur Stevenson are signed to Matchroom. They under the same umbrella, so the fight is way easier to make than any other fight. Keyshawn is with ESPN, Top Rank. Gervonta is with PBC, Amazon Prime. However, Shakur and Andy Cruz are actually both with Matchroom. They are signed with Eddie Hearn and fight on DAZN. So that's an easy in-house fight to be made. This is the reason why I believe we might see Andy Cruz versus Shakur before we see Andy Cruz versus Keyshawn. I mean, you got Keyshawn acting the way Gervonta be acting toward fighting Devin Haney, Keyshawn, and Shakur, so on and so forth, by ignoring them. This is what Keyshawn is doing, but it's interesting because not too long ago, Keyshawn was claiming he sent a contract to Andy Cruz and he turned it down. But now all of a sudden, he's acting like he don't know who Andy Cruz is. He don't want to talk about him. Why you don't want to talk about sending the contract if that was true? Why you don't want to talk about you want to beat the man who beat you 4 times in the amateurs? Acting the way Gervonta be acting toward Keyshawn Davis himself is not the way to go if you're trying to do that. Because Andy Cruz came out saying that Keyshawn did not send the contract and that he lied about it. Therefore, to stop talking and acting like Gervonta toward Andy Cruz is crazy to me. After you said you sent the contract to fight that man. With that being said, go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments section below. Subscribe below. And to be continued on the next episode of Akhi, Akhi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Mi enfoque está solamente en la pelea, darle lo mejor de mí en la pelea, darle ese gran espectáculo que está esperando el público del boxeo y ya después a recuperar tiempo con mis muchachos.
So no, I think the most important thing is, getting to see my son after a long time to not see him, making up for lost time really. But, in terms of the fight, I'm completely focused on it. I'm looking forward to put on a great show, the best show I possibly can for the boxing fans out there, and then most importantly, get to see my son again and have that kind of meeting once again with him and making up for lost time.
If you can't get, after your fight, I know you don't like to look ahead, but if you can't get Keyshawn, who would you like to get in the ring with?
Sí, hablamos un poco del futuro. Si no puedes conseguir esa pelea con Keyshawn Davis, ¿tienes algún oponente en mente al que te gustaría enfrentar próximo?
No, yo siempre he dicho que quiero enfrentar a los mejores. Mi interés, en lo personal, pienso que él tiene más interés, va a tener más interés en pelear conmigo que yo con él, ya que él es el que tiene la espina, ¿no? Pero sí estoy enfocado en todos los campeones, en mi futuro, de momento ahora en ganarme mi pelea y después en busca de todos los buenos boxeadores que hay en la división, ya que está plagada de buenos boxeadores, así que voy a tener para escoger.
So in terms of this, I think I've always said I want to face the best, and I think in terms of Keyshawn Davis, I think he personally has more interest in this fight because it's almost that thorn in his side, given that he lost to me in the past. But in terms of the future, I want to go on and face the champions. I want to first get through this fight on Saturday and then look at all the the best fighters that are in the division. This division is absolutely full of wonderful fighters, so I'll have a lot to choose from in that division.
And one more. Speaking of talent in the 135 division, would you ever chase a Shakur fight since y'all are both working with Eddie Hearn?
Si hablamos de la división de 135 libras, ¿te gustaría o buscaría esta pelea con Shakur sabiendo que ustedes dos están con Matchroom?
Sí, pienso que Shakur es uno de los top de la división y es cuestión de tiempo para que también se pueda dar ese combate.
Yeah, I think Shakur is one of the top fighters in the division. And I think it's just a question of time before we end up facing each other.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Andy.
Andy.